Welcome to the Lone Star State. This Thursday night, the Doghouse Racing League brings the Group 6 Cup Series to Fort Worth, Texas.
Behind him. And the 4 almost got into turning 2, now the 3 wide.
And around goes the 18. He catches the 19. Mark Trent Jr. into the wall.
134 laps, 201 miles, one shot at glory.
Almost.
The momentum. The 18.
Contact.
They make contact. The 18 into the wall. They're side by side again. Going into 3 for the lead. Larson has the advantage. Here comes the 18. He puts the bump into the back of him. The 18 into the wall. The 42 sideways.
Where's Harvick?
Here comes the 18.
They say everything is bigger in Texas. The adrenaline, the grit, the pressure. Live tonight, only on Doghouse Racing TV. It's the Group 6 Cup Series for the MARSS Properties 201. We are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. A big old yeehaw and howdy to everybody out there from Fort Worth, Texas, here at Texas Motor Speedway for the MARSS Properties 201 here in the Group 6 Cup Series, live only on Doghouse Racing TV. As always, on Thursday nights, my name is Hunter Foley, up here with my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, and we are excited to bring you all of the exciting Texas action that is sure to be happening here tonight. I know these guys are excited. I know we're excited, but first things first, before we get this thing really up and rolling, might want to make sure we give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors for the series and for this race. As I mentioned earlier, this is the Group 6 Cup Series, so huge special shout out to Group 6 for being our series sponsor for the year. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Explore their wide range of services at group6inc.com. That is GROUP, the number 6INC.com, and see how they can drive your digital success. Again, huge shout out to Group 6 for being the series sponsor for the year. This is the MARSS Properties 201, so a huge shout out to MARSS Properties for supporting this race. MARSS Properties offers vacation house getaways in North Carolina within an hour from the ocean. Make sure that you call 817-705-4108 and speak to Shane directly about your North Carolina getaway. And for anyone maybe new and joining us here, that is Shane Parrish out there on the track. That is the Shane you'll be speaking to, so make sure you give him a call about your North Carolina getaways and vacations. Doghouse Racing League is also very proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. We are also very proud to be supported by Butt Kicker here in the Doghouse Racing League. If you want to take your iRacing experience to the next level and want to improve your experience out there on the track, make sure that you head on over to their website, thebuttkicker.com, and get the finest in haptic technology for your next race. Again, huge shout out to Butt Kicker for supporting the Doghouse Racing League. And if this is your first time here on this channel, we are bringing you the very best in iRacing content every single Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So make sure that if you have not yet, make sure that you subscribe to Doghouse Racing TV. Make sure that you leave a like on all the streams, on the videos, and as always, make sure that you are active in the comments, cheering on your drivers. I know a lot of guys love to go back and watch this thing, and they love hearing the shout outs from all their family and friends out there. We love hearing them up here in the booth, so make sure that you get active out there in the comments. But let's get over to some racing. John, talk Texas to me.
Yeah, man, I used to hate Texas until they redid the Atlanta track, and now I'm starting to love Texas even more. It kind of reminds me of older Atlanta, a little bit difficult to run, in my opinion. Gets a lot hotter here in Texas, so that's definitely going to affect some grip as the night rolls on. Trying to pull up right now a track map for you on the side of the screen. You can see here, Texas is kind of weird, where turn 1 is going to kind of mimic turn 3, and turn 2 kind of mimics turn 4. The way it's set up. The pit road is often a source of complaint here as well. But no, I actually am starting to like this track a lot. You take turn 1 almost as the exact opposite you would take turn 3. So definitely got to be on your toes the entire race. A lot of strategy comes into play. Very fast here, but you can also burn them up very quickly here as well.
Yeah, I know we were talking about just earlier about how tire strategy is going to be a huge issue for this track, and the guys that are able to plan the pit road stops and be able to keep it moving out there on the track, they're probably going to be the ones that you are able to see in victory lane at the end of the night. Got a really big field out here tonight, and I know that we are going to be expecting a lot of action. I know on the practice laps, we were watching a little bit of the practice of these guys going around here just a few minutes ago. I know Jonathan Jennings was putting down the fastest practice time that we saw. He is our 2-in-a-row winner. Had a couple of Knapp Daddy Racing sponsored races, which, if you didn't know, was myself and John. So little shameless self plug right there. But Jonathan Jennings was the winner of our last 2 races. He had the fastest practice time out there. Right behind him, though, was Daniel Wilkerson.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, I remember him being pretty fast here from what I've raced with him at this track. I think this is a track that he's familiar with. A lot of the not older, but guys that have been in the league, more veteran people in this league, have seen this track a lot in all different formats, between the trucks, the Xfinity, when we used to race Xfinity in the Doghouse League, to the Gen 4 cars, and now the next gen. So definitely attract some of these veterans have seen quite a bit with this Doghouse League and know how to race each other here. So I'm not surprised Jennings is up at the top. I'm not that surprised that Wilkerson is up at the top either on that practice lap. Like I said, he knows how to get around here. I think this is one of the better tracks I've seen him run at.
Yeah, definitely very excited to see how he's able to put him down out here tonight. Daniel Wilkerson, as I know we've mentioned on previous streams, is the kind of main admin owner of the Doghouse Racing League. Does a wonderful, wonderful job in making sure that it's a great league all around, and out there putting some fast laps down on the track. Since it is the MARSS Properties 201 as well, wanted to see if we could talk about Shane Parrish a little bit. I believe he was our first 2-time winner here this season in the Group 6 Cup Series. Definitely run into a little bit of bad luck over the past couple of races, but seen him do well at 1.5 miles before. Expecting to see a big performance out of him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Shane's been plagued by bad luck. I think we were talking about it before the stream started, and I'll pull up a point standing here, but I think he's 13th in points, and you said he's won 2 races so far, which, I mean, we don't have a lot of repeat winners in this league besides Jonathan Jennings and I believe Jamie Horn, possibly. But
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, but that's kind of a big deal. Jamie's only won 1 race, actually. Now, looking at it, Jonathan Jennings has got 2 race wins. I don't know, Brett McCoy has 2 wins. I remember Atlanta and I believe Martinsville were his 2 wins. But yeah, Shane Parrish, the only other dual winner besides those guys, and he's sitting back in 13th, whereas Brent McCoy with 2 wins sitting in 7th. And you also have Jonathan Jennings with 2 wins in 4th. Jamie Horn, 1 win, sitting in 1st place right now. Seth Fitzpatrick is going to be sitting in 2nd. Andrew St. Cour in 3rd. I'm going to try to pull this up. I don't have it actually shared, so I have to pull it up on a web browser. But my apologies. It's been a while. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. But as you can see here, I mean, Jamie Horn's sitting here at the top. Andrew St. Coeur is a guy that's due, and I also think Seth Fitzpatrick's another guy that's due. I mean, those guys have been at the front all year long, just consistently top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes. Just can't seem to get that win right now. Also, the same thing for Justin McMahon, another guy that's knocking on the door. I mean, he's due anytime now as well. Adam Thompson picked up that win at Darlington in a dominating fashion. Another guy like Kevin Thompson, teammate with Andrew St. Coeur in that beast mode performance, looking to come out here and get a strong win tonight as well.
100%. And I think kind of like what you were saying is there's a lot of people out here that are due right now, and I'm going to be very curious to see if they can get it done here at Texas. I know Texas is one of the last tracks that you were able to bring home a win at, so it's a lot of people's favorite track. Other people, maybe not so much, but I do think we're going to see a lot of really big performances out here from these guys. You know, Shane Parrish can get back to his winning ways. Andrew St. Coeur has been qualifying great all season, been running really well all season, and looks like currently he is our number 1 qualifier. So Andrew St. Coeur holding your pole position currently. And then the 41 of Seth Fitzpatrick, man. I mean, as far as people out here that I would just really, with no other phrasing to use it, just have really ballsy runs. I mean, that's been Seth Fitzpatrick all year long. Really been out here risking his pit strategy, always racing clean, very comfortable driver, but been out here really putting in the time and the effort, and I think that's going to pay off for him.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing I'm pretty impressed with here is I'm looking at here at our leaderboard. I see that St. Coeur does have the pole, but I mean, you also have Gary Clune and Kevin Thompson, the top 10. So these teams are obviously putting in the work to try to figure out these tracks and working on the setups in this open setup league, and it's paying off for them. Other teams like Shoney's team is also doing super well this season with guys like Chris Leftwich, Jonathan Jennings, Chris Simon. Just good work all around. These guys are really putting in that time, and it's definitely showing out here.
I'm really looking forward to this one. I got to be honest. I mean, I know they're out there getting their final practice time in, but Texas is always a really fun one for me to watch. I know we've talked about it before. You know, the mile-and-a-half tracks are usually full of action and really, really fun to watch, and they're fast. I mean, you got, like you said, old Atlanta was a lot of fun to watch. Charlotte's a lot of fun to watch. I think Texas, in a lot of ways, is going to be very comparable to Charlotte, but I think we were talking about that before. Maybe even a little bit steeper.
Yeah, the turn 1 is tricky because you kind of have to let up a little bit earlier than you would actually think you would. And you just let it roll through the corner, but it is liable to slide on you. And coming out is a very, very wide exit coming out of turn 2 there. So when you're coming out, you're going to be almost floating up to the wall. And I'm trying to get you a little view here as we're looking at Scott Bailey coming out of turn 2 there. It's almost like you're almost driving straight out and get to the gas a lot earlier. So it really has to do a lot with confidence here tonight too. Something I learned at this track is if you don't have confidence in what you're doing, pushing it out of a corner, you're definitely going to lose time. Some of these guys that are more confident in their driving ability and their car are going to find that time that you're losing.
Yeah, and with this being a fixed setup league, you know, one of those things that you're going to run into is maybe guys are sponsored with a setup shop, or they have setups that they build themselves and they're used to running things that way. You're not going to have that in this league. It's going to be just kind of the standard iRacing build, which, you know, is very good, but it may not be suited exactly to these guys' specifications. So it's going to be a little bit of work to try to figure that out as we are going through.
Now we're watching these setups right here too. We're looking at Jamie Horn right now running a 4-gear setup around this track. I think it's a good call. I do like with these open setups, you do have the ability to change the gear ratio. Going down to 4 gears here is definitely going to give you a lot of good drive off. Also, if you get it under throttle a little bit in the corner, it may help you rotate. I will say that turn 4 is going to get very tight as the night goes on. Could start out pretty loose, but there's also a seam around turn 3 and 4 that these guys are going to try to hook their left wheel on top of, and if you can get it just right, that seam will actually help your car rotate just a little bit around that corner. I mean, I'm trying to see if we can get Jamie to go around this corner again. You don't let off for maybe half a second around this turn 3 and 4, and then right back into the throttle. as you watch his RPMs climb back up there. I mean, you're off the throttle for maybe half a second for the car to set, but there's also a menacing bump both on the low side between 3 and 4 and also on the high side of 3 and 4. And with the loose setup, if you got old tires and not a lot of fuel in the tank, make the car really light, it is liable to spin on you coming around there.
Yeah, 100%. Texas is not going to be one of those tracks that's for the faint of heart. Like you said, you got to trust it. You got to know what you're timing so well when you're going into those corners to make sure that you can get, like you said, get that grip and get back around. But for the guys that are confident and the guys that know how to run here, you can definitely expect a solid run out of them. Some few things to note if this is maybe your first time joining us. I noticed we got 16 people out there in the live stream right now. So first of all, thank you very, very much for being here with us. We appreciate it. The league appreciates it. And we are happy you are here. Got BMAC in the comments saying if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band. Go Team Beast Mode. Have a great race, Andrew. Go number 12. BMAC, as always, in the comments, cheering for Team Beast Mode and Andrew St. Core in that number 12 machine. But a couple other things to take note about here tonight. This is the MARSS Properties 201, so we are doing 134 laps total here tonight. We will be having a stage break at 34 and 67. In this league, we do not do stage cautions. It will just be 4 points. You get bonus points if you are in the lead at any of those stage breaks. And we are also dealing with some pretty hot conditions out there tonight. Somewhere between 84 and 86 degrees out there on the track, and then the track temp upwards of 117 degrees. So that is definitely going to make it looser. That is definitely going to make getting out of those turns harder, and it is going to eat those tires up a lot more.
Yeah, when we were in the practice session, we were up to about 117, 118 degrees. When we went to qualifying, it actually dropped down to 110 degrees. So maybe a little bit faster times there, but that also kind of messes with your head a little bit. You're trying to get a good feel for the car before you go out there and drive it for real for a race, but thinking that you got more grip than you do, or you can get a little bit faster times and come out here in the track 6-7 degrees hotter. So you got to really adjust and make sure you play your cards right, be easy on the throttle.
Yeah, kind of like what you were just saying. For those that may not know, heat means loose almost always out here on a track. So if you go out and you have a 110, 111 degree track, you have a lot more grip than you would on a 117 degree track. And this thing's only going to heat up more and more as this race goes on. So make sure that you keep an eye out here on these drivers, especially if we have the infamous Group 6 Cup Series Doghouse Racing League long green flag runs, because these guys run them so good. The guys that are able to manage their tires and manage that fall off are going to be the ones you are able to see moving towards the front, and especially later into a green flag run is when you'll really be able to see the difference between those who saved and those who didn't.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember how I haven't ran the next gens of this track in quite some time, but I feel like there is a setup out there somewhere where you actually shift up into 5th gear coming down the front stretch for the first maybe 20 laps, and then start to downshift, and then you just stay in 4th gear after about 20 laps because your RPMs aren't capping out near the later end of your run. But I'm curious to see if these drivers are going to stick to 4th gear like we saw Jamie Horn, if there is going to be some gear changing going on. I'm an old timer, I guess, at this point for iRacing, so I don't really do it much. I can only say what it was like in the good old days, but I know things have changed and iRacing updates frequently, and the track conditions being a little different. But going back to your talking about hot tracks, looser temps, another thing these guys have to worry about in these open setups as well is that as heat gets into those tires, it's actually going to make it expand a little bit. When those tires expand, it's going to change the way it wears, so it might wear more on the inside or in the middle of the tire instead of the inside and the outside. So it could change some pitch strategy for some people here. Might want to take some lower pressures on that front right coming in. Definitely going to have to make some adjustments with this hot temperature, but I love a loose car. Loose cars are my favorite. I mean, it gives you more ability to drive with your feet a little bit more. The guy that's really good with that is Jonathan Jennings. I don't think he ever turns his steering wheel I don't know if his steering was allowed to go past 15 degrees left or right. That means we're looking at his cockpit camera here, going around a complete turn here and just barely moving that wheel tape at all. So I'm always impressed by that.
For sure. And a couple of other people I think definitely are going to be ones to keep an eye on. We do have a newcomer to the league as well tonight. This is the 179 machine of, got to really try hard not to screw up that last name, Joseph Yasnikas, I'm hoping is correct.
Yes.
But he is out there putting really fast times out there in warm-ups. I believe that's the third fastest warm-up time that we've had out there at this point. And a couple of other people definitely to keep an eye on as well. You got the 71 machine of Adam Thompson. Been a winner in this league already. We've seen him, I know we've done a lot of talking so far about long run strategies and being able to save tires. He saves tires with the best of them. Jamie Horn, another guy that does that incredibly well. And someone that just consistently flies under the radar, the 88 machine of Josh Cully. We were talking about it before the race. So how often have we seen him, starting 20th or further back and then just be right there at the end? Extremely clean driver, races very, very well, and works his way through the pack almost every single week.
We've got 2 seconds left to warm up here before we start gridding up. So with that said, I do want to get to our grid, and I also want to make our picks before it goes green tonight. Before we get to both of those, though, give me a plus or minus on cautions. I'm taking the under on 3.5.
Under on 3.5.
Yeah, so I'm saying 3 or less cautions tonight.
I know how betting lines work.
I'm just for anybody else that don't. They're not. It's not betting lines. It's prediction lines. For the stream purposes.
True. Yep. Predictions. I would also take that under. Both for knowing how safe these guys drive, and that I know that a lot of these guys enjoy Texas a lot. And so I know that a lot of these guys have put the practice time in and are looking forward to it. But feel free to shout out in the comments what you think at plus minus 3.5 cautions. And then picks for tonight.
Don't take my pick. I've already got it. I've got it written down, so if you take it, I'll be mad.
You've already got yours written down?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
I'm going to Andrew St. Cyr. Andrew St. Cyr gets his win tonight.
You took my pick. I had it written down.
All right, well then you can take Andrew.
No. Sorry. That's what I get for. I let you go first. So that's what I get.
All right, I'm going Andrew. I think Andrew gets his win tonight. Been running very, very fast. He's due. There's a couple other guys I'm definitely keeping an eye on tonight. If I'm not gonna give a full 1, 2, 3 like you usually do, but I'll side in there. Shane Parrish top 3.
All right, I'll write it down. I love it. I'm going, all right, so my new winner for tonight, I'm actually going to go with Fitzpatrick.
I like it.
And then coming in second, I've got Leftwich. Chris Leftwich. And then I also am going to have Adam Thompson in my top 3. That's my 1, 2, 3. But we're rolling here. I got the grid up once you read them off for us.
I think I can handle that for you. As soon as my thing decides to load, of course. Here we go. Tonight on the pole position, you have Andrew St. Cyr in the number 12 car, starting first tonight. Looked like he's going to take the bottom lane. 98 of Jamie Horn in second. Seth Fitzpatrick in third. Kevin Thompson in fourth. Shane Parrish, the MARSS Properties man himself, in fifth. Jonathan Jennings, your fastest practice time holder in 6th. Scott Bailey in 7th. Justin McMahon 8th. Gary Clune in 9th. Eric Warman in 10th. Chris Leftwich starting in the 11th position. One of John's top 3 bets there. Cameron King in 12th. Tony Martin in 13th. Adam Thompson 14th. Newcomer to the league, Joseph Yusnickas in 15th. Christopher Simon 16th. Joe McKnight 17th. Daniel Wilkerson 18th. Eric Anderson 19th. Tyler Millette 20th. Brian Messer 21st. Zach Miller 22nd. And we are off to the races. Steve Bonomo, Zach Michael, Nick Alford, Gary Armijo, Mark Dumont, Nick Shell, Richard Leclerc.
Good job. That was my fault for starting that too late. I'll take the blame for that one.
Also got a comment in here saying, "Go Spooby," aka Adam number 55. Number 55 is Brian Messer, so I don't know why we're calling him Adam, but maybe you learned something new here.
Brian Adam.
Could be. Never know.
Adam Brian. The old ABM.
You never know, but anyway.
BAM would be better for BAM. Look at, here we go. Jamie Horn already trying to make a move on Andrew St. Cyr. Jumping to the inside. Seth Fitzpatrick right behind him, looking low. Shane Parrish behind him.
And Andrew got off to a really good start, but Jamie Horn just must have a big machine out there tonight because he caught right up. No help behind him really to speak of, and he's just out there moving forward. And it looks like they're all going to try to get their nose and successfully get their nose under Andrew St. Cyr. That's going to see Seth Fitzpatrick move right up there under him.
Yeah, now there's a line that you can run in 1 and 2 that's on the high side that plays pretty well here. Look at St. Cyr trying to push in there, though.
Trying to get that side draft, trying to make sure that he doesn't lose any time on these guys.
Yeah, you could definitely run a high line coming through 1 and 2, and it will play. I know I've seen Daniel Wilkerson run that quite a bit, and I'm always perplexed how he does it, but if you do it right, it's pretty fast, especially on exit coming on the backstretch.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple other guys further back a little bit, kind of employing not really a high lane, but working their way a little higher towards the track. I see Jamie Horn shuffle back just a little bit. New race leader in Seth Fitzpatrick. He's got the number 66 of Shane Parrish right behind him. Jamie Horn back to 3rd, but he's stuck on the outside there. And it's looking like the inside has a little bit more heat right now. He's now racing side by side with Andrew St. Cyr for that 3rd position.
Chris Leftwich also moving up on the high side here. Jonathan Jennings, he's been pushing his way forward a little bit. Oh, Jamie Horn's on the wall.
Huge lick.
I can't get to him fast enough here. That was a hit.
Adam Thompson looked like he was trying to get around him as well, I believe. And I think he mostly got around, but he did get it loose coming out and was also going to have some damage. But Jamie Horn just smashed the wall.
It's like Andrew St. Cyr just got to his bumper a little bit. That car is done. Leftwich avoids it. Thompson nowhere to go. He's trying to get low. Hits the hood. Looks like he got the Scott Bailey there and spun. And that's Justin McMahon spinning on the bottom of the track too. McMahon able to save it. Good save by him.
Yeah, and then Adam Thompson getting up in there into the wall as well. Not a hard hit, but definitely still going to have some damage. And so we've got some guys bringing it down pit road here to start this thing off. Adam Thompson probably dealing with some damage. Michael Dow also down pit road. Josh Cully on pit road. Gary Armijo. Zach Michael. Adam Gardner, looking like they all came down pit road. Andrew St. Cyr taking the EOL there. Didn't look like anything intentional there to me. It looked like it was just some hard racing, but with no fast repairs in this league, you've got to think that's probably the end of Jamie Horn's night.
Yeah, these guys were just racing really hard with each other too. It was good racing while it lasted, but Jamie tries to slide down just a little bit. We saw him try that move a little bit earlier. I think St. Cyr thought he had a little bit more space in front of him than he did. I know St. Cyr would not try to do that early into the race, especially with Jamie Horn. I know these guys work really well together, get along pretty well, so. But that's going to move Chris Leftwich up into 4th place right now. Then you also have Seth Fitzpatrick leading the race, Jonathan Jennings in 3rd, Shane Parrish in 2nd, that green 66 MARSS property car. That's a sponsor shout out.
And again, for all of any of the newcomers that we do have for the Doghouse Racing League or the Group 6 Cup Series streams, this is a primarily self-policed league. There is no race control. Daniel Wilkerson actually is the one that's doing the race control while driving, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. But these guys do call EOLs on themselves. That doesn't mean that they purposefully caused the caution. That doesn't mean that there was any willful intent. It doesn't even mean bad driving. It just means that maybe the caution wouldn't have happened if something had gone a different way. It's a way to kind of keep everybody honest. These guys race really clean and really safe all the time. So that 3.5, I think you just got some increased odds on that one with one caution 8 laps in.
Oh yeah, we're definitely sitting at like plus 350 right now for that.
Oh, easily.
I was trying to pull over to Jamie Horn to see what his situation was, but could not pull him up, so I don't know if he's towing still or just hopped out of the car while it's repairing. He might come back out and get some more laps, considering he is your points leader right now. Try to get as much as you can, but it's going to be a good 20 minutes probably.
He is connected to the session, but we are going back green. Seth Fitzpatrick going to be taking the green flag here. Shane Parrish in 2nd, Jonathan Jennings 3rd, Chris Leftwich 4th, and Eric Warman in 5th. Did just hear Adam Thompson come over the radio say it didn't go. We see him going he was already near the back of the pack. He's your last car on the lead lap in 31st. Jamie Horn going to be the only one behind him, and he is not on the track. Looks like Gary Maydew and Joseph Yasnikas did start in parks, so they're going to make up 33rd and 34th.
Yeah, we're riding along here with Adam Thompson, and that wheel tape is pointed probably in the 1:30, 2 o'clock position, which is no good. He's going to be lagging behind until he gets that fixed. So I know somebody that's hoping for plus 3.5 cautions. That's going to be Adam Thompson.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we've seen it with these cars before, what might look like, and that didn't look like a particularly hard hit for Adam there, but real easy to break a toe link. And I mean, he's fighting demons out there, and that's unfortunate to see. Good driver, good guy, but he's going to be stuck there until he can get some of that damage repaired. But back up towards the front, Seth Fitzpatrick leads the way, has about a 0.3 second lead on Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan also riding down there on that low line. Got Eric Warman moving up a couple spots. He is now in 4th and fighting with Shane Parrish for that 3rd spot.
Which tells me that Eric Warman must be feeling pretty good, because that's very uncharacteristic of him. Not to be at the front, but to be at the front this early. He usually likes to sit back and wait and then just sneak his way up there to the front.
He is looking like he has a machine on that thing. He has cleared Shane Parrish for 3rd and is already looking like he's trying to make some moves on Jonathan Jennings for 2nd.
Yeah, Eric Warman's one of those guys that if he's ever behind me in a race and I know there's like 10 to go, I know he's going to catch me regardless, no matter what, because he's saved so well and he's just biding his time. And then all of a sudden when my tires are out, he's going to make a run all the way to the front.
Seeing the 92 of Cameron King up there for the Hot Lap Heroes guys. He's up there trying to work his way around Scott Bailey, looking like he might clear it here on this run. Got Gary Clune up there in the top 10 as well for the Beast Mode Performance team. Racing in 7th, up a couple spots from 9th. And then our current biggest mover, Nick Alford with the Hot Lap Heroes, up from 26th to 11th. And looking like he is moving forward and quickly.
Yeah, Nick Alford's got some skill, man. He's always up there at the front. I know he's also ran into some trouble, but when he's got a hot car, he's got a hot car. I mean, he knows how to get around.
Seeing a lot of shifting from this front pack right now. Everyone's trying to figure out their line, where they can save the tires the best, but also where they can get some speed. These guys are not waiting around. It doesn't seem like. Eric Warman already moved his way up into 2nd, gotten around Jonathan Jennings, and he's trying to get up there on Seth Fitzpatrick.
Ooh, I just saw Gary Clune almost get a little bit too close in front of Justin McMahon there. Backed off really quickly. I don't know how people feel about this, but if I had to give a biggest improvement, like most improved driver that I've seen throughout all of my time with Doghouse, it's got to be Gary Clune. I mean, especially this season in the Cup Series, where it's probably the toughest competition. He's just showing out. Already picked up a win this season in the at the Daytona. I believe it was our first race at Daytona. Picked up a win there, and then just keeps on finishing high up. I think last week at Talladega, the man had a fantastic run. So I've been very impressed with Clune and his driving this whole series, and just the way he's able to get the front. Got a good team with him as well, so I mean, he always knows he has some good help around him, and it's good that he's up here at the front with his teammates. I mean, he can help his teammates out just as much. So that Beast Mode Performance team, really good team over there.
Really good team, really good drivers, and very safe as well. So always good to see the Beast Mode guys doing well. Got Sean Thompson in the comments, as always, saying good luck to Kevin Thompson and all drivers as well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Kevin Thompson, because he started pretty high up. He's down 23 spots right now in 27th place, right with St. Cour. So maybe those guys can work together and get up to the front, let Clune hold it down. They can catch back up with him and make some moves here.
Yeah, they are back there. I heard them coming over the radio. Andrew and Kevin and Bill Gentry back there trying to figure out how they're going to work their way back up to the front. If this is the first time you are here joining us on one of these streams, I am able to hear the driver radio. We have tried broadcasting that in some other streams before. It's a bad idea if you want to stay being able to go live on YouTube. Again, nothing against any drivers here. We're all adults here. They're competitive. You get frustrated. You say some PG-13 and above words, but we're going to try to avoid that by me serving as your anger translator wherever I can. But I did see Adam Thompson had it down on pit road and was 2 laps down. And he was trying to get it back out on the track, but I just saw the thing come through where he has disconnected. So Adam Thompson may be calling it a night tonight.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Adam. I mean, he's been fast every single week. The guy has a rocket ship, especially these 1.5 mile tracks. So hate to see him go. He was going to be in my top 3 tonight, but we still have 2 other drivers kind of up here at the front. Seth Fitzpatrick that I have as my winner for tonight. Chris Leftwich is kind of falling back a little bit, but we've seen his drive and he knows how to get to the front. So, but your new race leader is going to be Eric Warman. Took the lead about 2 or 3 laps ago. We're checking in on that Beast Mode Performance team. Eric's holding it down at the front, and again, I'm surprised. Not that he's leading, but something tells me he's super confident or knows he has a good car tonight that can go the distance if he's up here this early.
Yeah, like you said, not surprising to see him at the front. Eric Warman's races with the best of them and is honestly one of the nicest guys that you'd ever meet, but usually a guy that's going to be sitting kind of back toward the back, going to be playing, he's going to be trying to play chess while everybody else is playing checkers and then work his way back up toward the front. But he's obviously feeling himself here tonight. Been racing up near the front this entire run. We do see him fall back a couple of positions there. Going to find himself in 3rd now as Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings get around. Adam Thompson in the comments. Sorry, boys, too much damage. Had a fast hot rod too. Go, Eric.
Let's see.
He said fast hot rod. That just put me in mind of that Cletus McFarland thing after Daytona. I was just driving around Daytona in my hot rod, bald eagle screeching, feeling like $1 million.
I watched a nice 30-minute segment with him and Dale Earnhardt Jr. the other day. Don't ask me where I found the time to do that, but I did it. And I was, okay, I know it was about Cletus McFarland and his whole rise to fame and everything. I was more impressed with Dale Jr.'s just knowledge of NASCAR in terms of both logistics and how tracks work. That was pretty cool stuff. My memories of Dale Earnhardt Jr. have always been like the young kid under Dale Earnhardt with his hat backwards and turning around when his dad comes around. But, I mean, like, he's matured a lot and just knows stuff. It's crazy.
He knows stuff.
I mean, it's almost like he's done it for a while.
Yeah.
Almost like he was born into it.
Yeah. But no, it's been cool to see him kind of take his role as like a mentor in the NASCAR scene. And I mean, Cletus McFarland is just, you know, content gold. Adam Thompson, again, in the comments, like a bald eagle. Flying around Daytona like a bald eagle. He also says Eric is bad fast tonight, so look out. And you are correct. Nicest human on the planet.
Yeah, Eric fell back just a little bit. I think he's getting a little loose coming out of turn 2. Maybe pushing it just a little too hard coming through there. Got to make sure that wheel's straight coming out. Like I said, it's very deceptive in turn 2 coming out. It's very wide and broad, and you can get to the gas early, but you also have to have your wheel pointed. I remember the first time I drove this track in a practice session, someone told me to aim for the star on the wall when you're pulling out of this turn. And if I can pull up here, just the cockpit view, the wall is full of stars. And that was the best advice that person gave me. Which star?
Well, also on some other in-race news, looks like Mark Dumont in the number 14 has also disconnected. I didn't really see any spot where I would have said he got a bunch of damage. Maybe something happened, not 100% sure, but he is currently 5 laps down in the 30th position and is no longer on the track. So, assuming he has called it a night as well. But going back to our leaders, Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings. Saw Jonathan get really up close to Shane there. And it seems like he's getting runs, but then Shane's just able to kind of pull back out on him. But either way, those two have something special going on, or they've just haven't used their tires for the majority of this race, because they've put almost a 2-second lead on the 3rd place position, which is Seth Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Seth's kind of out here by himself as well, and his teammate and Scott Bailey right behind him in that 48 car, holding off Cameron King, but Justin McMahon's making a run, coming around Cameron King. He's up 2 spots, now 3 spots, as he just clears Cameron here in that Hot Lap Hero car.
Speaking of Hot Lap Heroes, you got Nick Alford still moving up and trying to be the biggest mover here tonight, up from 26th to 9th. Still trying to work his way forward. Got a little bit of ground to make up. Got about 4.5 seconds back on your race leaders. But he definitely has Gary Clune in his mirror and is trying to get up there.
Yeah, right before I was about to cut over to that, I just saw Cameron King. Beautiful crossover move over Justin McMahon. McMahon had him on the inside and took it. Coming through turn 2, Cameron King just crosses him over on the back stretch and takes that spot back on turn 3 and 4.
Looks like Justin McMahon might have a little something going on, because now we're seeing both Eric Warman and Gary Clune just kind of made him the peanut butter in the sandwich, and they went right around.
Yeah, I think he kissed the wall a little bit coming out of turn 2 there.
Adam Thompson in the comments saying 3 and 4 is bad as well, because you can almost go wide open, but you shouldn't. 3 and 4 will eat your tires.
Yeah, we kind of rode along. Well, we didn't kind of. We rode along with Jamie Horn earlier in the practice session, I believe, or qualifying, and I was looking at that. Because I remember here you kind of let off the throttle for maybe half a second. I mean, it's just half a second. You only let off all the way and then get right back into it. And it's very tempting to do that every time, but if you're running a race pace, you definitely cannot do that. You will burn it up. And I'm surprised Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings have not burned it up yet. These guys are fast and still pulling away.
those guys must know something that we don't, which is, I would say, pretty typical about our overall knowledge of tracks. Is we get to the end of these races and see something going on, we're like, I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah,
And then
the trick is to put your
they
tires in a deep freezer before the race starts. I'm joking.
Shane Parrish still leading this thing. Jonathan Jennings about a half a second behind now. Seth Fitzpatrick losing a little bit of time, but still there consistently in third, about 3.6 seconds back. Chris Leftwich, one I'm going to cut to here, back in 9th place. He's got Brian Messer now. Looking to the inside and looking like he's going to get that pass and get his way into the 9th position.
Offered with some Tokyo drift coming out of there on turn 4.
And then, as per usual, I know we mentioned it earlier in the race, expect to see the 88, not close to the front at the beginning, but expect to see him there at the end. Started in the 31st position and is up to 18th and working his way forward. Him and Andrew St. Cyr working their way up together. Andrew St. Cyr started in the 1st position, is now back in 19th. But him and Josh seem to be working well together and working their way back up.
Yeah, Josh is up 13 spots tonight, man. No surprise there. Now he's going to be up 12 spots since Andrew St. Cyr just going to make that pass on him there. But, yeah, I think St. Cyr is going to be up the front before this race is over. I mean, it's lap 36 to 134. We still got about 100 to go. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. And the beautiful thing about being back there toward the back of the pack is that you can kind of control your own destiny. You can control how much tires you're burning. You can run the lane you want to, as opposed to where Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings are up in the front. You got to maintain, or like we were talking about just a few seconds ago, maybe they know something we don't. Shane Parrish built out almost a 1-second lead on Jonathan Jennings. That an accomplishment in and of itself. Jonathan Jennings, our two-time our first back-to-back winner of the Group 6 Cup Series this year, taking home both of the Knapp Daddy Racing 250s. And Shane Parrish out there been dealing with a little bit of bad luck here recently, but MARSS Properties is on the banner above the race, and it's on his car, and he is showing it off.
Yeah, somebody that we have some with good experience on this track I got coming up to the booth right now is Jamie Horn. Jamie, got a copy with us?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man, I was kind of disappointed to see you out so soon. I know you took a huge lick. What was the repair times looking like on that?
There was none.
Oh, no, not even an option.
No, it told me I was done for the night, so. Oh, well.
Walk us through what happened there with between you and St. Cyr.
Man, I really don't know. You know, I tried to watch it back on the broadcast a little bit. And I mean, I just passed him, and I think I thought I was more clear than what I was, and I went to let off in 3 and 4 like I'd been doing, and I guess he was closer than what it looked like to me, so I'm gonna take the blame on that. I know he took the EOL, but I'm gonna say that's probably more my fault. So
Yeah, you guys were racing pretty hard there for a second for the few laps leading up to that. I mean, both of y'all got fast cars tonight, so hate to see it.
yeah, it's I just flew back in town earlier, and I was telling him in the room that I got sick while I've been gone, and so it might be a blessing tonight. I'm gonna sit back and do race control instead of having to focus on racing. I just hate it. If it ruined anybody else's night, I don't know who all was caught up in it. I think it's mainly just me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe Thompson got caught up just a little bit. Didn't have much place to go. McMahon, I don't think McMahon got hit, but he was sliding around 3 and 4 and able to keep it straight. But I know Thompson is out for the night with some wheel damage, and his car was just slow. But that was a tough break for him. Both of y'all got really fast cars. But I was going to ask you who your pick was for tonight to win, but since you're doing race control, that might be a little biased, so I don't want to ask.
And honestly, I really don't have one, so I don't know. Whoever you picked, I'll go with. How about that?
Yeah, I had Fitzpatrick winning, and then I also picked Chris Leftwich and Adam Thompson to be up there in the top 3. So who did Hunter have? Hunter had Parrish and St. Core up there in the top.
I think they're all good picks and strong picks. So we'll see. I don't have a specific one I would go with, but probably any of those are more than capable of getting it done. Or, I mean, the way this track is and tire fall off, you never know who's gonna figure it out later on into the run. 134 laps of a long race. So, what lap are we on? My computer keeps glitching out. I guess the internet or something. I don't know.
We are on 44, 134.
Okay.
But
I keep trying to keep track, and I keep getting a flicker, and then it loses track of the leader. It's apparently my computer is just not on point tonight either. So,
well, I don't know if it's just you because I've had the same issue with it tonight. It's kind of buffered out now, but iRacing lately for me, it just seems to like flash certain drivers, or especially my standings board. And last week we had the problems where it wasn't showing my cautions on my overlay monitors to my right, so I could see where it was happening. But what's our fuel strategy looking like tonight?
so I'll be 100% honest. I do not know. Like I said, I got back in town probably 10 minutes into practice already starting. So I was trying to figure out how to drive the track because I had zero practice. Had to go. We were getting a new fire truck, so I had to go do the final inspection on it, and had no practice, so I don't know. I know you're gonna go a whole lot longer on fuel than you will on tires. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
So,
Is it? I know there used to be a bump in turn 3 coming into turn 3 on the low side and one on the high side. Is it still kind of there? Is it kind of messing with drivers tonight coming around that turn?
there's a small one on the low side. It wasn't really impacting my car too much. I'm not sure about the higher side. I was going to attempt to stay on the lower side or as low as I could for most of the runs because probably about, I don't know, 20, 25 laps in, I was getting really free and it was becoming a handful to drive. So I was trying to focus on saving the tires, and I didn't really expect the pace to be that hard at the beginning, which, track position means a whole lot. So, that's why me and Andrew was racing so hard for, I think we were probably third or fourth position there. And I know it wasn't anything he did intentional, and I sure didn't. We have a lot of hard, clean battles, and I respect Andrew a lot. So,
Oh yeah, it was fun to
I
watch
hate
for
it.
sure. Yeah, we were watching that leading up to it. It was super fun to watch coming up to it, but we kind of said the same thing. It looked like you kind of thought there was more room, and also he thought there was more room in front of him. Just kind of a racing incident. Just good racing, really, but it happens. I hate when it happens when you're in first place in the points, but
Yeah, at least I think we get a point for leading a lap. So at least that was my initial goal, was to get up there, lead a lap, and I told my team, Michael and Zach Miller, I was like, I'm gonna just fall back now, and Steven, I was like, I'm gonna just fall back now that I got a point lead, because I really just I wasn't. I mean, I really feel pretty terrible tonight. So I was told them if I made 10 laps, I'd be shocked. So.
yeah. Well,
So I don't think I made 10. So.
I mean, you were close. I know you definitely got that lap lead in there. You mentioned Steven. Is Steven part of the Simpson Horn racing team?
No, so me and Steven are still on Elite Southern
Elite.
Motorsports.
Okay.
And we sometimes, if we don't have very many people in our chat, the way the Lee's got it set up, we jump in Discord together sometimes. So I think we can have up to 6 people in our Discord chat. So we just kind of get in the same room and talk to each other. I'm trying to, build the HSR side up some. So trying to work with those guys and help them improve. They're doing good, but just I think working together some more will really get them up there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to race control, and I know you're getting sick, and I don't want to make you talk too much, but I appreciate you joining up here in the booth. I love a good old in-race interview. This is actually our first one that we've done. I've been trying to do it for a while, so
I hate us for this reason, but
yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well, y'all have a good night, and if y'all need anything, let me know.
yes, sir. We appreciate it.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hate it for him, man. I mean, first in the points. Yeah. And not even have the option to repair the car to get a few points on the board. You know, just hoping somebody else wrecks out. But
For that lick that he took, I can't say that I'm necessarily surprised that that was the end, because I mean, that thing took a shot. I mean,
oh yeah, they're picking parts of the engine out of the wall right now.
that would have been a few minutes in the care center if this was real racing. But if onto the on the track, actually looks like we have our green flag pit stops going on right now. Saw a couple different strategies from people bringing it in earlier. I believe the first couple that I saw bring it in was Justin McMahon and Daniel Wilkerson. And then St. Cyr and Parrish stayed out for a little while longer, and then they eventually brought it in. Jonathan Jennings just now brought it off of pit road. Seth Fitzpatrick, Chris Leftwich, Kevin Thompson, Eric Anderson, and Scott Bailey make up your current top 5 out there on the track. I do not believe any of them have brought it down pit road just yet.
No, sir, not yet. We have Fitzpatrick, Leftwich, Bailey, Simon, Millette, Anderson have yet to pit this race. Adam Gardner, Joe McKnight, and Kevin Thompson have all pitted earlier this race on lap 7. So, I mean, they might be able to go 7 more laps, but I wouldn't be surprised you saw Adam Thompson hang around with Seth Fitzpatrick up here at the front. When he pits, or Kevin will pit.
And then you do see Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings, they're being our highest up cars that have most recently gone through this green flag pit stop session. Shane Parrish still on the lead lap. Granted, it is 26 seconds behind the current leader, Seth Fitzpatrick, but is out there and is on the lead lap. Jonathan Jennings is a lap down. He is our first car a lap down, though, so if there was to be a caution at this point, he would be the one getting the lucky dog.
Yeah, I'm going to switch it to the scrolling ticker across the top for a second, just while these pit stops are going on. Just so you can see who is in the pits right now currently, to see if your driver is pitting.
And something we didn't mention as well was the first stage. Again, Doghouse Racing does not do a caution flag for their stage ends. It's just extra points. That will go to, it was on lap 34, so that would go to Shane Parrish. Congratulations to Shane Parrish on that first stage win and the bonus points. I know he is excited about getting those under his belt. Has the 2 wins, looking to get back fully into form, especially here on a race that is sponsored by MARSS Properties, which is his primary sponsor. Our next stage will come at lap 67, which is in 9 laps.
Yeah, and only 8 people in the lead lap right now. But, I mean, it'll cycle back out when everybody starts pitting through and everything, so looks like that's going to be Chris Simon making that journey down pit road as it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Seth and Kevin are definitely going to have to bring it down here very, very soon, but they seem kind of content to just keep it pushing for right now. We do have 17 people also out there in the stream, so first of all, thank you very, very much for being here. We appreciate it very much. The drivers appreciate it. Make sure that you stay active in the comments. We love reading them. Drivers love hearing them. Thank you very, very much. And I cut you off. What were you about to say?
Trying to get my throat clear, man. My throat feels dry. I was actually looking at Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings pitted on lap 51, 52. So that's probably, I mean, I guess you can go up to 61 as shown here in Seth Fitzpatrick, but McMahon, Wilkerson, Miller, Eric Warman all pitted between lap 44 and 48. So kind of that short pit strategy. They're still going to have to pit again, but that might get them to the finish here tonight, especially if you have another caution. I mean, that might be a strategy that works out to get around Parrish and Jennings. It would be yet
it's
to be
going to be
seen.
close, especially with the tire wear that we've been seeing. I mean, like you just saw, I mean, Seth Fitzpatrick's driving on some pretty bald tires right now, let's be honest, but he's still out there. He's leading laps. He's getting those bonus points. I wonder if he's trying to think that he can stay out and get those stage points, but we've seen Seth before. He is not one to shy away from a risky pit strategy.
Yeah.
And it has, by and large, worked out well for him. Doesn't have the trophy in his cabinet yet to show how well it's worked, but definitely shows up in the points, shows up in how well he's run, and puts on a good show, man.
I mean, the man was a turn away from winning at Homestead against Shane Parrish off an unorthodox pit strategy. We saw Brent McCoy win at Martinsville without pitting a single time. Only driver not to do that, ended up picking up the win there. He was also very fast, and we had 20-some odd cautions, but so he still had to be fast off the restarts, but still a lot of unorthodox pit strategies that can work out, can play out, and Seth Fitzpatrick's trying it again here tonight, staying out. I mean, if he can make it, I'm trying to do math in my head right now, buddy, and it's not working. Probably like 67. He might be able to make this a one-stop race.
And that really would be something, especially with the tire fall off that we normally see here at Texas. I mean, if he can make 67 and also gets those bonus points, I feel like that'd be pretty crazy. I mean, he's got cars flying around him, but I mean, he doesn't need to concern himself with that. All these guys are a lap down. They're getting their lap back. That's not his problem. He's just trying to play his strategy and, you know, like you were just talking about, stay out there. And maybe he is trying to make this a one lap race and kind of banking one pit stop race and banking on that this is going to be a very low caution race. I mean, like you just said, he's been the one in the lead with that big 12-second lead, and then gotten run down by a faster car. And then he's also been the one that was a turn away from running someone down after pitting a little earlier. So I appreciate it. I mean, he's probably the most unorthodox one on the track when it comes to his pit road strategies, and it definitely makes for a fun watch.
I will say I got the deltas pulled up on the screen right now. Shane Parrish has made up about 7 seconds in the past 5 laps on Seth Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no getting around the fact that he is going to be one of the slower cars out on the track right now. I mean, you can see these other guys going around him pretty much with ease, but at the same time, it's also lap 67, so now he knows that he can make this thing a one-stop race, and as long as he can hold off Kevin Thompson, who is over 3 seconds behind him right now, he's going to take home the stage points, which he does. Congratulations to Seth Fitzpatrick for bringing home the Stage 2 victory here in the Group 6 Cup Series of the MARSS Properties 201.
Yeah, Shane's now shrunk that down to 6.3 seconds. Still improving. Looks like Seth Fitzpatrick's going to bring it in here, which is
That's
also
all he wanted to do. He wanted to get those points.
Yes, he can make this a one-stop race now. But the thing that Shane has to worry about, and guys like Kevin Thompson, Jonathan Jennings, Zach Michael, Justin McMahon, is that you have to work on your track position so that when you do make that second stop, that you got the tires and you got the drive to get out there and close that gap. Because if he does make this a one-stop race, if we don't get any more cautions, I mean, this could play out really well.
Because now what we're going to see is kind of the reverse of what we've been watching. We've seen all these cars going around Seth Fitzpatrick very easily. They have the fresher tires by, 67 laps. Now Seth Fitzpatrick's going to have the fresh tires. And he's now stayed out, about 15 laps more than the rest of these guys. So they're already going to have wear on their tires. He's going to be fresh and ready to go. He had most of the field lapped at that point, so it's not really like he's going to fall too far back in the standings. We're seeing it kind of shuffle back out here.
Well, something I just noticed as well was I pull up the pit stop laps here and try to go down. I got to find out where he is at now. Looking at Kevin Thompson, who came in on lap 7 and was starting to catch on to Seth Fitzpatrick there. So, I mean, he's going to have a good run at Fitzpatrick too here near the end.
100%. Got a couple comments. Got a comment out here saying, go Adam Gardner. Adam is out there, and he is currently a lap down in 26th position. I know we are dealing with some reshuffling from the different pit strategies, but
yeah, I believe he
is
just
still
came out
there putting... What's that?
He just came out of the pits right there, right before we brought him up.
I would say he might be on the same strategy as Seth there, but also got Mike Leftwich wanting to know what the track temp is right now. It is 116. So that is going to be pretty close to what these guys were looking at in terms of when they were practicing and qualifying.
Yeah, 116. Not a lot of wind movement out of this track today, too. The humidity's pretty low comparatively to what these guys have experienced. Eric Anderson trying to make a move here on Nick Alford on the outside. He's going to get it. Alford's going to get a little loose there. Alford's still loose. Trying to find the wheels underneath him. Cameron King's going to go try to get around his teammate here. That's going to push Alford back to 12th place. Eric Anderson in 10th. Cameron King in 11th. Trying to catch up to Josh Coley, who is up 22 spots for tonight.
We talked about her before the race. I mean, Josh Cully, I've seen him a lot of times not even put a qualifying lap down. And when he does, he's usually very, very careful. Always starts, or most of the time it's started near the back of the pack, but always just works his way back up. Race is so smart, so clean. It's just poetry in motion. And he's got that 88 machine up there in the top 10. Gonna be, at least from what we've seen so far, it's going to be a tough show to get out there and get in front of Shane Parrish or Jonathan Jennings. Shane Parrish back in the lead now.
They got 3 wide here. Daniel's getting passed all over. Daniel Wilkerson was an 8, just moved all the way back to 11th place after getting a little loose coming out of turn 4, trying to get it together. Chris Leftwich is going to get around him. Looks like Alford's going to get around him. We want to talk about other big movers too. We also have Brian Messer, who's up 16 spots in that P5 position. And it doesn't show on the screen because he started on the pole, but Andrew St. Cour took the EOL earlier and now is back up to 4th place.
And he had to fight his way back up. I mean, he was kind of back there in the back of the pack. He was trying to work his way back forward. They kind of lost the pack there in that first green flag run, and through all the kind of different strategies that we've seen here tonight, Andrew St. Cour finds himself back up there in 4th. Shane Parrish back up there, though, putting down fast laps, and he is coming up on a huge pack of cars that are potentially about to be a lap down or another lap down. Jonathan Jennings over 9 seconds behind that 66 of Shane Parrish right now. Shane has got him a rocket ship tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Johnson's kind of pulling it in just a little bit, but Shane's out there far enough now where, I mean, you might hit the next pit cycle before Jennings has a chance to catch up with him.
And the thing is, we were talking about the infamous Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series low caution race, which your line is looking like it's a really good pick here. If you've got these long runs and you have a car that's fast enough, or you know enough on a track to be able to work yourself out to a lead like this, that changes things tremendously for how you're able to handle your pit strategy. When you've got up to the 16th position, a lap down, you got 9 seconds on the second place car, and then you got 18 seconds on the third place car. I mean, you're halfway down pit road by the time most of these people even pass you.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie said it too when he was in here. Track position plays so well here. Track position is usually a thing that I usually don't concern myself with at most tracks early in a run, but that's just showing levels to it, and these guys are levels above what I am, and it does play a huge difference. The fact that I didn't really care about track position is why I'm up here broadcasting now and not racing with these guys, but I subscribe to the same belief as Eric Warman, where you just kind of sit back and like let the race come to you, and these guys are out here just finding the race themselves, and that's what's leading to a bunch of success for these guys.
It's been super interesting to kind of see the different strategies that everyone's been trying to employ here, because I mean, now you got Shane Parrish working his way out to almost 10 seconds of a lead on Jonathan Jennings, but you know all of those guys, Shane Parrish, Jonathan Jennings, Justin McMahon, Andrew St. Cyr, Brian Messer, your whole top 5, all those guys are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, going to have to bring it down pit road a second time. And you've got Seth Fitzpatrick, who is currently running 18th, also a lap down, probably doesn't have to pit again, but is he going to still have enough of a run on old tires to be able to actually use that? We've seen how bad the tire fall off here can be when you're, on 60, 65 plus lap old tires. I mean, people are just walking their way around you. They make it look easy.
As we show the deltas right here between Seth Fitzpatrick, Shane Parrish. Fitzpatrick has gained about 2 seconds over the past 6 laps here, but I mean, if I'm Fitzpatrick and I know that I'm one of the few cars that does not have to pit again, other cars be Adam Thompson and probably Adam Gardner, I believe, who pitted that same cycle.
Thompson's out of the race.
Not Adam, I'm sorry. Kevin Thompson, 6th car, beast mode. You kind of have to take it easy here because you want to save those tires and make sure you have a good run here at the end if you don't have to pit again, knowing that these guys will have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm these guys, honestly, if you're on lap 84 and we got 130 here to do, I'm waiting until about a lap 100. And about a lap 100, I'm really setting the bear down and letting them go. But the thing is, you also have to worry about when you have such fast cars up at the front between Shane and Jonathan, Justin, Andrew and Brian up there in the top 5. If you let off too much, especially when there's as much of a gap as there is, I mean, you've got Daniel Wilkerson, who's in 14th position, is 30 seconds behind the leader. Now looks like going a lap down. You can't let off but so much, or you're going to be 2 laps down, and then you're really up a creek.
Yeah, you can see just how spaced out these guys are getting now. Kind of single file racing, with the exception of Chris Leftwich here and Adam Gardner. Adam Gardner's making that pass, not for position, but he will get around Chris Leftwich, trying to move his way back to the front. Chris is sitting in 7th place right now, up 4 spots.
I believe biggest mover out on the track is going to currently be, I believe that's going to be Josh Cully, who is up 20 spots, currently sitting in 11th.
Oh. Alford very loose coming off that turn just above Josh Cully there.
While we are watching this race, I want to make sure we give another huge shout out to all the sponsors. Shout out to Group 6 for being our Cup Series sponsor. making sure that this thing gets put on, that we're up here in the booth. These guys are out here on the track. So huge shout out to Group 6. Huge shout out to MARSS Properties. We see that plastered all over the car of Shane Parrish, who is currently your race leader by over 10 seconds and has been having an absolutely fantastic run. Has a rocket ship here tonight. So thank you to MARSS Properties for being this race sponsor. Huge shout out to Shoney's. We've got the Shoney's race team out there putting laps in. Been racing very, very well tonight. Jonathan Jennings, part of the Shoney's race team, in second place. Chris Leftwich in that number 13 machine is in 7th right now. Chris Simon is the other Shoney's driver, I believe, and he's in 15th right now. So huge shout out to Shoney's for also sponsoring. Huge shout out to Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker been a long time supporter of the Doghouse Racing League, so thank you very much to them.
It looks like
John, I gotta be honest, I'm
Go ahead.
kind of curious as to how this thing's gonna end. Shane Parrish is increasing his lead on Jonathan Jennings. Oh, he might be in a little bit of trouble right here, though.
Oh, behind Seth Fitzpatrick.
I think he was trying to work his way around Seth Fitzpatrick there. Seth got a little bit loose.
Yeah, and that's this group here with Kevin Thompson, Seth Fitzpatrick. They go both sides around Chris Simon there. That's the group I think is going to catch back up to Shane Parrish here, especially with their pit cycle. Because I know Seth waited until lap 67 to pit. Josh Cully coming on pit road almost sideways there, but Kevin Thompson pitted on lap 7, but also again at the same lap as Seth Fitzpatrick. So they are on the same fuel strategy. And they're right there beside each other.
And this is where you're going to start seeing people come down pit road that are 100% going to be able to make their way to the end. They're going to have fresh tires. Everyone else that's in that lead pack, you're going to have to see come down pit road again, like without a doubt. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I just heard Shane Parrish come over the radio and say that he's going to be bringing it down pit road. Jonathan Jennings doing the same thing. This is where it gets interesting.
And I cannot get this lap time delta off my screen there. There
Andrew
we go.
St. Cyr bringing it down. Chris Leftwich going to bring it down this time by. So now you're in a situation where you have to wonder, what is the 56 of Adam Gardner going to do? And what is Seth Fitzpatrick going to do? You know you've got incredibly fast cars out there on the fresh tires. And you're going to end up on the older tires, which means people are going to be able to run you down here a little bit.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
you can last your way all till the very end.
Yep. This is where it's going to heat up. I don't think these guys are going to pit again. The worst case scenario is if a caution does come out.
That is definitely your worst case scenario.
But if they gamble right, sorry, I shouldn't say that on the stream. If they play their cards right, you know, and predict the right things, I mean, Kevin Thompson has a really good shot at this. Seth Fitzpatrick has a good shot at this. And Seth Fitzpatrick's been there for a while.
You have a couple of Hot Laps Heroes guys that were able to lead a lap there. Brian Messer, your new race leader that time by. But him and his teammate Cameron King, I believe you're going to be bringing it in this time by, at least based off of the radio, which is going to make Kevin Thompson for Beast Mode Performance your new race leader in that 6 machine. Been there all night. And Seth Fitzpatrick in the 41, only about 0.3 of a second behind him.
This is going to be a matter of who burns it all faster.
Yeah. If Seth and Kevin were able to save some tires. Are Seth and Kevin on the same pit road strategy?
They are.
Very interesting.
pull the track temps again. Track temp has gone down to 114 as of right now.
Because the other thing you got to think about here as well is that Shane had such a big lead that now he's back out on the track with fresh tires, and he green flag pit stopped, and he's only 7.5 seconds back.
Oh yeah, I mean, pull it up one more time here. I know I keep looking at it because I'm interested here, but Thompson and Fitzpatrick last pitted lap 69, 68. Parrish, who just brought it in and took 4 tires, I mean, he's going to have a good 25 lap fresher tires, and Jamie said earlier the fall off was around 25 for him, so
Shane Parrish already moving his way back into the 3rd position, getting around that 94 of Tyler Millette, who has not pitted yet. Zach Michael also with a great run tonight, up to 5th from 25th.
yeah, he is currently your biggest mover.
Again, to all of the 18 people that are out there currently in the stream, thank you for being here. We appreciate it, and the drivers appreciate it as well. Make sure that you subscribe to Doghouse Racing TV if you have not already, so you don't miss a second of any of the action, either here in the Group 6 Cup Series here on Thursday nights, or for the series that these guys run on Sunday, or on Sundays and Tuesdays. You can catch that all here on Doghouse Racing TV, live and in color.
They are watching Eric Woman for a second, making his move around Josh Cully. Shane Parrish is going to try to follow right underneath. Brian Messer looking for the same idea. For Brian Messer, well, for Shane Parrish, this is not for position. It will be for position for Brian Messer in that 55 car.
Yeah, Shane's trying to work his way back up there to the front. Right now, you got Kevin Thompson still out there as your race leader. You got the 41 machine of Seth Fitzpatrick right behind him, only about 0.3 of a second back. But you have Shane Parrish coming in hot. He's trying to work his way through that lap traffic.
Tyler Millette gets really loose off exit of 4 there. We looked at his cockpit cam earlier, him driving. It looked like he was taking it pretty easy, and now he's up here near the front.
We also do have a comment in here from Country Chick saying, let's go 94, out there rooting for Tyler Millette. Currently out there running in a top 5 position.
He's going to have to bring it down pretty soon, though.
And so if you are these guys, you are Kevin Thompson, Seth Fitzpatrick at this point. When you've got Shane Parrish, and oh, it's 3 wide right there.
Trying to get to it. Shane Parrish
no.
slides. Cully's around.
Parrish. Shane Parrish was there trying to get around the 41 of Seth Fitzpatrick. Looking like it checked up just a little bit more than he thought it was. Seth is able to save it. Shane's able to get around it. Unfortunately, not the 88 machine of Josh Cully.
See if we can flash back to some action.
We're going to have to see some interesting pit road strategy here, because at this point, most of these guys that green flag pitted have 10, 15 lap old tires. Do you try to bring it down, go to the back of the pack, and try to make a run? Or do you try to stay out there and hang with the guys that have fresh tires? I mean, if you're Kevin and Shane, you have to bring it down here, I feel like. Or Kevin and Seth.
I would dare say that everybody brings it down here.
Shane Parrish down pit road. Seth Fitzpatrick, Kevin Thompson, Shane also brought it down.
Yeah, that's a
Jonathan
smart move by those
Jennings.
guys. Because before we were saying that if a caution comes out, that's worst case scenario. But the way that Shane was catching up, this might be best case scenario. This gives everybody an equal playing field to go out there and run or drive what you got here and just run what you brung, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm saying this just became a very, very interesting race because now you have guys that have showed how fast they are early run and guys who have had excellent pit road strategy. All going to be right there up at the front.
Watch, I think Core been on pit road for quite a bit. Up to 56 seconds now. He's probably got some damage he's trying to work on. He's only going to fall back to the, looks like 12th place spot if Messer gets out in front of him. So
If he's been dealing with some damage, then having that fixed now is going to be huge for him, being able to work his way back up there if that's what he's thinking. I know he is going to get off in front of the leaders there, so he's not going to have to worry about going a lap down. But it's looking like your lead pack for the final, 28 laps of the MARSS Properties 201 is going to be... So it's going to be Shane Parrish, Kevin Thompson, Jonathan Jennings, Zach Michael, Tyler Millette, Seth Fitzpatrick, Eric Warman, Justin McMahon, Adam Gardner, and Chris Leftwich is going to be your top 10. But we are trying to get them still all lined back up, though. This is about to be a fun 20 laps, man.
just pulling up some of our track info here so you can kind of get a glimpse of what's going on. Track temp's down to 113, so continually dropping might help out some of this grip a little bit, but I don't think it's going to play too much, especially these guys pushing it just a little bit harder here as the race goes on. But also for a guy like Tyler Millette that I'm looking at here too, I mean, this is perfect for him. He was kind of in the back earlier. That pit stop was going to put him down a lap, and now, I mean, you're in good shape.
And we are back to green flag racing, and what a jump by Shane Parrish. We've seen him get out so far in front time and time again in this race, and he's trying to put that strategy back to work. Kevin Thompson and Jonathan Jennings trying to run him back down.
Tyler Millette moving his way up, taking advantage of the situation that he's got here. He's going to move up to the 4th place spot, up 16 spots tonight. Zach Michaels getting past there on the low side by Fitzpatrick. Warman trying to get around McMahon.
So to say, don't count Seth Fitzpatrick out just because the long pit strategy didn't work out. He's still very obviously had a very, very fast car here tonight.
What a move
You
by
can expect
McMahon.
big things out of him.
Absolutely. I think he'll be back up near the front. I think he got a bad little restart there, but he's pretty fast. But McMahon, just beautiful move coming out of turn 2. Going to take that spot away from, like it was Chris Leftwich or Zach Michael, actually, that was there. Everybody's going around Zach Michael right now. Chris Leftwich, Adam Gardner, St. Core, Brian Messer, Tony Martin. We haven't talked about him tonight. Trying to get it around. I think he is a lap down, though.
He is going to be a lap down. He's your first car a lap down, actually. Currently running in 23rd position. But everyone's still chasing Shane Parrish. Got out to a big restart. Got about 0.3 of a second on Jonathan Jennings. Increased it a little bit that lap. But you still have Kevin Thompson behind him. He's trying to run down Jonathan Jennings. And then Seth Fitzpatrick and Tyler Millette. Eric Warman running in 6th. Saw him up near the front earlier on.
Yeah, you can see that front pack on our track map here getting a little bit more spaced out. with Seth Fitzpatrick in that 41 car being the leader of the second pack, trying to catch up to Kevin Thompson and Jonathan Jennings.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like to me that the guys that are kind of holding that low line right now are able to keep a little bit more speed, at least coming out of exit on these turns, but going in, those guys on the high side is where they're really able to make their speed.
Yeah,
Eric Warman able to maintain that position over the 24 of Justin McMahon there.
Just looking at that, McMahon was trying to dive low. Warman with a good move to cut that off real quick. I mean, 22 to go. You got to hold them off as long as you can. The big problem, and I have this problem myself, is sometimes I drive out the back. I drive through my mirror more than I drive through the front of my windshield. And that slows me down a whole lot. So you got to keep your eyes forward and stay focused.
Kevin Thompson looks like a man on a mission right now. Gained almost a second on Shane Parrish and Jonathan Jennings here. Just in the past 2 laps, he is trying to keep that thing move forward. And is Seth Fitzpatrick going to have the time to actually run down there and get himself in contention here? 3 wide going into the backstretch. Justin McMahon and Eric Warman.
Holding it down. St. Cour's going to try to get on that low side. Almost 4 wide there between Adam Gardner.
We cut some grass right there. Those guys are battling it out. Everyone trying to work their way forward and see if they can run down the leaders.
Looks like my man's going to come out in front and get that clean air out there. Trying to chase down Tyler Millette. Kind of started that turn just a little high. Probably a little higher than he wanted to there, but
right now, Jonathan Jennings, the only one that's seeming to really close in time on Shane Parrish, down to 0.2 of a second. Kevin Thompson about 0.7 of a second.
Uh-oh. I've got Shane Parrish blinking out on my screen right now, and it might just be me.
He's fine on mine.
Okay. I had him blink out.
Seth Fitzpatrick he was 2.1 seconds back that last lap. Now back to 2.3. Is he going to have enough horses in the engine there to get that thing up there and back in contention?
I mean, 18 laps is still a lot of time. You can burn them up in 18 laps. Jennings is pulling him in, though. Kind of losing a little bit on entry there, but
they're saying realistically at this point, I mean, if you're one of these guys that's a little bit further back in the pack, like unfortunately we talked about some guys we talked about in the beginning that had really good practice times or were running really well. Josh Culley, Zach Miller, Daniel Wilkerson, 19th, 20th, 21st. Going to be tough unless there's a caution to get all the way back up there, but with all the different tire strategies that we've seen here at Texas tonight and how people are able to save or not save, I do still feel like anyone in that top probably 6 or 7, it's still kind of anybody's race.
Yeah, and Jennings has been pulling in Shane Parrish a little bit the last 2 laps. Kind of gave it back to him just a touch, but I mean, he was closing that gap for a little bit there. I'm looking at the gap between him and Thompson, and I mean, they're just about even right there at half a second, just going back and forth, back and forth. And then between Kevin Thompson and Seth Fitzpatrick, you can see that looks like Thompson is growing that lead over Seth Fitzpatrick right now.
Yeah, Seth has a really fast car tonight, but it does seem like, especially between Shane and Jonathan and Kevin, those guys have the really great short run cars. Seth obviously did a great job on the long runs. Gonna be interesting to see if as we get past the lap 130 mark, if he's gonna be able to have anything in the tank left to run them down. We still do have Tyler Millette up there in the 94 machine in 6th place. He's still right there. Justin McMahon in 7th, and Andrew St. Cyr worked his way back up from all the different issues that he's had tonight and back up in 8th place.
Yeah, like, don't look down, but Chris Leftwich is making her own Seth Fitzpatrick. Just closing that gap in. Tyler Millette's falling along right behind him. McMahon going to follow suit, do the same thing.
And so what's going to be the situation? You're a little bit more informed on this than I would be. At Texas, 1.5-mile track. So if McMahon, they're in the 24 machine, and Seth and Chris were to try to line it up and draft, is that going to make much of a difference on them being able to run down the leaders, or are you pretty much running by yourself here?
Yeah, not much here, man. Like, you don't really catch much of a draft. It's more punching a hole through the air, which helps out a little bit. You're definitely not going to see it like you would at a track maybe like Auto Club or Talladega, Daytona, stuff like that. One thing you can do at this track more than other tracks, I know this from experience here, is that you can get somebody very, very, very loose coming out of a corner just based off the way you're set up on their back rear bumper. Especially in turn 3 and 4 there, coming out of 4, if you swipe across the bumper a little way, don't even touch them, just move the air underneath their car just a little bit. It creates a little bit of lift and pushes them up to the top side of the track. Might be a move some of these guys try to make here, as we just missed Kevin Thompson passing Jonathan Jennings for 2nd place.
He has gotten around him here, and while they both have moved back a little bit on Shane Parrish, Jennings now about a second, little over a second behind the 66 of Shane Parrish. Kevin Thompson, little under a second. Kevin Thompson looking like he might have something in the tank to run down Shane Parrish.
I mean, I think Chris Leftwich has got a chance here to move himself up into a 4th place spot.
Absolutely. I mean, he's out there looking for that pass on Seth Fitzpatrick. Seth's been so good tonight, but definitely had a setup that is meant for the long runs. I mean, that last caution, well, it still kept him near the front, so he didn't have to green flag all the way back to the back. Because, I mean, let's be honest, at that point, he was going to get run down by Shane Parrish, and he was just going to be kind of holding on for dear life and trying to salvage whatever he could. But I think he had that thing set up tonight for the long run and for the strategy that he was trying to do, and I think that last caution probably messed it up a little bit for him.
Yeah, somebody that didn't mess it up for was Kevin Thompson. Another guy that didn't mess it up for was Tyler Millette, who was a lot further back. He was in, 5th or 6th, I believe, before his pit stop. But that pit stop would have set him back a whole lap. So, I mean, that caution was very well placed for him, and he's taking full advantage right up here in 7th place, up 13 spots for the night. Trying to get around Justin McMahon, but Chris Leftwich has got something for Seth Fitzpatrick. Only 7 laps to do something, though.
Yeah, we are kind of coming into the end of this thing, and I'm not sure that anybody has anything for Shane. I mean, we've seen he's run this thing perfectly tonight. Fought his way back up when he was further towards the back because the green flag stops, and had himself so far ahead that by the time the green flag cycled and a strategy for someone like Kevin or Seth would have come into play, he was only 9 seconds back, which on fresh tires here at Texas, I mean, that's, you just saw it. I mean, that's 10 laps of work.
I mean, good for Shane, too. He's had some bad luck past few weeks. A couple of early exits. I remember at Martinsville was one of those. He needed this, and I think this is going to boost his point standings quite a bit. And I know the guy puts in a lot of work. He'll always talk about how many laps he puts in for these races. I actually invited him to race in another league on a separate night apart from Doghouse, and he declined my offer because he wanted to solely focus on Doghouse and just stick with the tracks that we're racing here. So the man's committed.
He's committed and he puts the time in, which you got to respect, and it's paying off here tonight, especially here at Texas. This is a track where it shows when you put the time in, and boy, is it showing tonight as he is just pulled away from Kevin Thompson as this run has gone on. 2.1 second lead on him. Jonathan Jennings running third. He's about 0.8 of a second behind Kevin there. Seth Fitzpatrick fighting for his 4th place position with Chris Leftwich. They're going back and forth.
Like Chris Simon's trying to fight this position away from Scott Bailey. He's got that inside. He might have a run. Josh Cully might follow. Josh was running pretty good earlier and had that spin to cause our 2nd caution of the night. Chris Simon's going to get around Scott Bailey here. Maybe on this exit, actually. I don't know. This high side might play a little bit for Scott.
2 laps to go this time by. Seth Fitzpatrick. Caution, caution, caution.
We just
That
pulled
throws a
away
wrench
from
in
it.
things.
We just pulled away from Scott Bailey there to go back to the front. I know Coley was around trying to get around. Chris Simon was trying to get around at the time. Try to pull up that replay for you, but yeah, that's going to cause a kink in some plans here if we go to a green-white checkered.
Yeah, that just made this thing a lot more interesting because, I mean, as broadcasters, you try to keep this thing interesting. You try to talk about the different storylines and the things that are going on. But, I mean, Shane Parrish was winning. That's a period at the end of that story. He was pulling away from Kevin Thompson. He was pulling away from Jonathan Jennings. That's kind of just it. That's all. That was probably going to be your top 3. Chris Leftwich had just worked his way around the 41 machine of Seth Fitzpatrick to get into 4th, putting Seth back in 5th. But that was going to be your top 5. And this just got a lot more interesting. We are going to do a green-white checkered finish. They will take the green flag. Next lap will be the white flag. And anything that happens after the white flag will end the race exactly as the positions sit right there. What went on with that caution?
Scott Bailey's car is just too tight coming out of that corner. You can see him trying to get the car to rotate, trying to get it to turn left, and it's just tight, and that's kind of, not really, but kind of what they refer to as plowing. We'll back it up just a little bit. You can see his steering wheel. Usually when people talk about plowing, they're referring to like when you brake the car going straight into the wall, but it's kind of opposite where he's trying to drive out. He's trying to get the car to rotate as much as he can, and it's just not working with him. Got that wheel turned to the left, probably in a good 9:30, 10 o'clock position. And the car's just not rotating. Tries to turn it back to the top and put some throttle into it to get it to spin a little bit from the back end. And again, just plows right up into there. And if your goal was to aim for the star, like I was told when I raced here one time, then he certainly did it.
And I believe we saw everybody 12th back there go ahead and go down pit roads. That's going to put your most recent pits, or your highest up recent pit stop, as Eric Warman in 12th position, if I'm not mistaken. But the real story is going to be kind of right up there at the front. Shane Parrish has been so good on these short runs. Does he still have enough left in those tires? Does he still have enough left in this run to get the jump that he's been getting? All of these restarts that we've had here tonight. Kevin Thompson's still been very, very fast. He's going to be starting in 2nd.
I'm sorry, did you say that Eric Warman pitted?
I believe so.
That's dangerous. Because we saw at the beginning of this race how fast that guy was, and Adam Thompson in the comments even said so himself. And if that guy has 4 fresh tires, ooh.
It's going to be interesting, for sure. I mean, he is going to be back there a little bit. He's going to be restarting in the 14th position. I mean, it's a green-white checkered. You only have so much time to work with, but
yeah,
gonna be interesting to see how that goes. Again, remembering that the first lap is a green flag. If anything happens on the green flag, they will try to do this again, I believe. But after that second lap has gone through and the white flag is out, anything that happens after that will end the race. Shane Parrish, Kevin Thompson, Jonathan Jennings, Chris Leftwich, and Seth Fitzpatrick make up your top 5.
Oh boy, I think Warman may have took tires on that stop too. Looks like Gardner may have took tires on that stop. This will be interesting to see here.
Pace car is off. Can Shane Parrish get the jump that he wants? He does, and oh no, they're wrecking immediately.
I don't know if somebody spun tires or what happened there. I know we have race control. I'm begging to line them back up and do it again. I know Shane Parrish is begging for the opposite. I don't even know if we crossed the start finish there. I gotta back this up a little bit here. Let's try to look in on, it was Kevin Thompson here.
And are we ending this thing? Or
By the Doghouse rules, I believe that's it. Yeah, Kevin Thompson spun tires. Gets into the side of Jonathan Jennings. Just going to push him back up into Chris Leftwich. McMahon was able to get around. McMahon gets around, Jennings gets around. So like Jennings going to finish second, McMahon third. Fitzpatrick fourth. And St. Cour in fifth.
what a way to end it. We were just talking about wonder what's going to happen with this restart, if Shane's going to be able to get off to the restart that he has, which he did, by the way. I mean, he took off like a rocket ship. But then all that chaos started happening back behind this thing. Unfortunate for Kevin Thompson. Had a great run tonight, and I think he's going to end up finishing back in 18th, 19th, 20th. And what a save by Jonathan Jennings as well. Able to save his second place finish.
Big man able to get around. We jumped in the cockpit with him. Saw what was happening, take the high side and went with it. Going to give him a third place finish tonight. iRacing does this weird little thing sometimes where if you enter the pits too early when a green-white checkered ends like this, it will actually put you at the back. So everybody's being super cautious to make sure they stay out.
Make sure that they take the checkered flag.
So if you see some standing shake up here, it's probably because somebody pitted too early.
But for all intents and purposes, just saw that pace car pull back down pit road. Shane Parrish is going to be your race winner here tonight in the MARSS Properties 201 in the MARSS Properties car, and did a fantastic job. What a run by Shane tonight. Jonathan Jennings bringing it home in second, able to just avoid that caution. Justin McMahon bringing it home in the third position. Seth Fitzpatrick had a lot of strategies tonight. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to pay off for him. Going to be in fourth. Andrew St. Cour going to bring it home with a top 5 in fifth. See B-Mac in the comments saying congrats to the winners and great comeback, Andrew. It definitely was. Top 5 for him. Tana Millette is going to be in sixth. Zach Michael in seventh. Chris Simon for the Shoney's Racing Team in eighth, putting 2 Shoney's Racing Team drivers up there in the top 10. Adam Gardner finishing 9th and Eric Warman finishing 10th, and that is going to be your top 10 here tonight I was gonna say Shane Parrish burned it down, but I think he already blew it up.
Oh yeah, he had some fun with it. He was taking off as soon as he got the checkered flag. Get back around. I'm happy for him though. I mean, he's had some tough weeks and he's really battled back and brought it back and took the win here tonight.
Great job by him for sure. I mean, he did exactly what he was supposed to do all night long. We were talking about the different storylines and the different things that could happen and the different strategies that people were trying to put into place. And Shane just did it the old-fashioned way. I mean, he came out here and he was fast. I mean, he took off like a rocket ship every single restart, built out huge leads to where even when you had people that were trying to use some of those, Texas Motor Speedway pit road strategies on long green flag runs, it didn't matter. He was only 8 seconds behind, was able to work his way right back up to the front, and was able to kind of get around all of those little cautions that came out at the end, and just pretty much flawless as far as I can see, as far as that performance goes.
Absolutely. I do have our top 3 sitting here in the waiting room for us, so we're going to go ahead and pull Justin McMahon up to the booth here. If I can find it. Yeah, your third place finisher, Justin McMahon, come up to the booth. Justin, you got a copy with us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, man, you had a great run tonight. We were watching you for the last probably 20 to 25 laps as you were battling out with Chris Leftwich and Tyler Millette going through the pack. Did you want that race to stay green, or are you happy for that caution at the end?
Well, I mean, now the fact that I got third out of it, I'm glad that late caution came out. But in the moment there, I didn't really want that caution to come out just because I knew that there was a big enough, somewhat of a decent gap between me and a couple of guys behind that were on a little bit fresher tires. I think Tyler was, or maybe, I'm not really sure, but there was just a big enough gap there where I thought I was going to be okay to at least get a top 10 finish and salvage the night. But then again, stuff happens in mysterious ways, right? So I'm happy. I'm not happy for what happened, but I'm glad for me personally that that happened. I was able to sneak through there and get third place.
Right, and it's always fitting when Group 6 Shoney's and MARSS properties comes 1, 2, and 3. So love to see that for the sponsorships at least. That last restart there, walk us through what happened. We saw Thompson get a little loose as if he spun tires. Did you just kind of pick a lane and go with it?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was kind of just pray to God that you weren't going to get collected in it, and I think I was going to be I was going to be done. I think if Chris didn't take the brunt of that for me, because Thompson was coming right back up into the outside wall, and I think if Chris wasn't there, I probably would have been done. But luckily he got turned into the infield, and I was able to kind of sneak up against the wall and get through there.
Yes, sir. We're going to Kansas next week. What's your thoughts on Kansas?
I don't know. I think I've had my ups and downs there. I like Kansas a lot more than I like Texas. I'll say that. We'll see. I mean, just have to get a good setup under us and work on it, and hopefully, I think I can be in the top 10 again. I think I've been decent there before, so just as long as I can keep the wheels underneath me and save some tires, I think I should have a shot to be up there at the end.
Yeah, sir. Well, I tried to keep it to 3 questions, but I got to ask one more because I'm looking at your car now. Did you change the car scheme a little bit? Looks like a dot pattern on it. Has that always been there?
Yeah, I had AMR Designs do a rework of the paint scheme there a while back. I think for the beginning of the season. I didn't quite get it for the start of the season, but he had some issues with one of the iRacing updates, so it didn't actually have that matte finish with like those dots in it, and he was able to rework it for me to bring it back out how it's actually supposed to look. So it might look a little different, but that's actually what it's supposed to look like. Looks pretty good, I think, right?
Absolutely. I love the contrast between the black dots and the black matte on it too. So that's something I try to go for in my designs and do it. Looks like a good looking car. But
Yeah,
congrats tonight on third place, man. Any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
yeah. You guys for doing the broadcast. You guys do a great job, especially for year one of trying to work out the kinks and everything. You guys are doing well. Obviously, Group6 for the sponsor on the car, and I got to send out my condolences to my buddy Nate there that owns Group6. He just had to put his dog down of
Ooh.
11 or 12 years old, so it was
Oh,
super
no.
unexpected and unfortunate. So hearts are out to him. For all the dog lovers out there, it's unfortunate, but stuff happens and we have to try to move on. But yeah, and shout out to Daniel and all the admins at Doghouse for putting the league together, and Shoney's for the sponsor, and all the other sponsorships there that help keep the league going. So it's been fun this year. I'm glad we've got the numbers to turn out for the Cup Series this year. It's a lot of fun battling with almost a full field every week.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on third place tonight. You've been running up to the top for the past few races, so I'm not going to pick you next week because, again, bad luck happens. None of my picks actually finished in the top 3 tonight, but we're looking forward to seeing you there, and congrats again.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
That's going to be Justin McMahon, your third place finisher. Kind of a damper, man. That was a downer. I mean, me and Hunter are dog lovers big time. You got 3, I got 2. Both had them almost for a while too. So I mean,
I was actually going to say, kind of on that note, just, again, Group6 is the series sponsor. Before we get on to this next interview, Group6 is the series sponsor, and we appreciate them a lot. But like you just talked about, the owner just losing his dog of 11 or 12 years. I actually came back about an hour before this broadcast started from my wife's great-grandmother's funeral. She was 101 years old, so just kind of a reminder to everybody out there, whether it's your loved one, your friend, your pet. For a lot of us, our pets are our loved ones. Just make sure you hug them extra tight tonight. Life is a very fickle thing, and you never know when someone's not going to be around anymore. So just make sure that you love on each other a little bit extra tonight. From the Doghouse Racing League, from the Group6 Cup Series, from the Knapp Daddy Racing Boys, just know that we all love you, we all appreciate you, and make sure that you give somebody an extra hug tonight.
Absolutely. I hate hearing about dogs, man. That hurts. But going on to our second place finisher here tonight, you have Jonathan Jennings coming up to the booth. Jonathan, you got a copy with us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, congrats on second place tonight. It seemed like for a while you're the only person that had something for Shane Parrish between you and Kevin Thompson. Unfortunate ending for Thompson there, getting loose. It's probably spinning some tires on the high side there. But coming to the finish, you held it together pretty well under that caution flag. What was going through your head as, I guess, Thompson was coming into you?
Waiting for that yellow flag to pop up so it would save me, because I was about to lose it.
You just keep your foot in it and keep going?
I was trying to pedal it and keep the car under me, because it didn't seem like much of a. It wasn't going very fast, but it really, once the tires get out from under you, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah, that's the next thing I was actually going to ask you about, was this tire wearing, especially coming off of turn 2. See a lot of guys kind of plow into the wall as the race went on. Did you find it getting a little more tight there as the run was going on?
Man, I was tight from the get-go. I overcompensated for the track temp, and I think I had the wrong gear selection as well. I suffered the long run. But second. I've had a really good year so far, so nothing wrong with second.
Can you educate me and the viewers here about how the humidity is affecting your gear ratio here in the track temps when you're trying to pick a gear?
I would like to, but I know the humidity's at the lower end. I think it's thinner air, and if it's high humidity, it's thicker air. So the thicker air obviously slows you down. So
Yeah,
I think I might have it backwards. But
Yeah,
I believe that's how it works.
I think you're about right there. from what makes sense to me in my head at least. But yeah, I saw a lot of guys with 4-gear setups. I think the last time I ran here, I had like a 5-gear setup where I was shifting on the first 10 laps or something. Was that an option for tonight?
Yeah, if I had the right gear. We had 3 choices, and I went with the 4-gear, and it was fine the first 15, 20 laps, but after that and the track getting tighter, it really just didn't carry enough RPMs through the corner to keep my momentum, and it killed me in the long run. So that's my fault.
Yeah, well, going to
You'll have that.
Yeah, we're going to Kansas next week. How do you feel about Kansas?
I like Kansas. Hopefully I'll run good. I'll definitely be on the bottom, I think. The last few times I've tried to run the top, it did not work out. So we'll work on that and hopefully do good there.
Yes, sir. We'll probably let you go. Any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for putting all this stuff together, and all my teammates. Had Chris running good again, and that last thing there took him way back, but he did good, and all my teammates, and Shane and Justin on a good run.
All right. Well, congratulations on second place tonight. Another top 5 finish, top 3 finish, really, for you. Just keep stacking them up here and gaining some points. So looking forward to see what you can do at Kansas next week.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
That's going to be Jonathan Jennings, your second place finisher. I always like to get his input on things, especially like RPMs and gear ratios, because something I struggle with myself, and the guy knows a lot of stuff. So always fun to see somebody else's opinion on it. I'm glad to know that my 5-gear setup wasn't out of the question. It made me feel really dumb because I saw all these guys running 4, and I'm like, wow, maybe that's why I was so bad here. But yeah, moving on to our next person here in the waiting room, we got Shane Parrish, your first place winner tonight. I believe this is going to make 3 wins for him. Am I correct?
3 wins, most wins in the Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series.
Man, that's a feat right there in itself. Shane, you got a copy with us in the booth?
I've got a copy, guys. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. I get to back up and talk to you now after about 6 to 8 weeks. It seems like for me, it's either checkers or wreckers.
Yeah, we were actually talking about you before we went live on the stream tonight. We kind of have like a quick little pregame meeting about who we're looking for and track notes, and you were definitely on our list, top of the list actually, about having a good comeback night. You've had some bad luck over the past few weeks, but come back out here and show up and show out for the MARSS Property 201. Give us your thoughts on the race in general.
Well, the race in general during practice before the race there, when we were in our warm-up phase, I did some practicing and I tightened the car up a little bit. Seemed like it was just a little bit freer than I wanted it to start off. And it seemed like in the practice races I did this week in AI, that's kind of the way the car started out. It was just from lap about 20 to about 35. It's just so loose, you just have a hard time holding on to it. So I tightened it up and I went with that and went into the first pit stop, came out, car was running really good. Did not like it on new tires. It was so tight in 1 and 2, it was snapping the rear. So I had to end up starting to adjust it the rest of the race, and typically I haven't had that all week. So keeping up with the track was really difficult tonight. The last pit stop I made there, I just took a huge swing on about 3 different adjustments to loosen the car up. And yeah, when I came back out after about 4 laps, I knew this thing's a rocket now. I couldn't even get more than half throttle through the corner. It would have just come around on me in 3 and 4. So I knew I had a rocket then. It was running real good.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was fast. You were pulling away from everybody. We were kind of concerned with that last green-white checker that was going to maybe shake things up. We know some guys behind you took fresh tires. Fortunately for you, had that caution come out and able to keep you there, but I think you would have had a strong run anyways. What was your thoughts when that caution came out with 3 to go?
I'm like, man, this is like the 3rd race in a row. A caution's come out with 2 to go. Man, why can't I catch a break? I mean, come on. It's always on 2 laps to go. And I was driving hard to try to end the race. But, I seen some guys duck in. I knew the guy right behind me was a lap down, and the couple cars back from that was a lap down. So the cars that ducked in, I figured were 8th, 9th, 10th, some of those guys back there. To get around everybody on new tires here is a big advantage, but you can also get, for the first couple laps, on low pressures till it builds up, you can get super, super loose. So I really wasn't that concerned about it. I knew if I got a good jump, like I had the last couple restarts, and jumped out there 8, 10 car lengths, all I had to do was just maintain and I'd be fine. I wouldn't have to worry about pushing, having somebody beside me and get loose, them being on my door. So my main focus all night was just restarts, making sure I got good restarts, and jumped out there and got it going. And I did. And I don't know what happened in the last one, but I think somebody got a little too aggressive and got loose. I know I seen Jonathan, a bunch of people sideways. So don't know what happened, but sorry guys, I would have loved to have raced you out to the end, that's for sure.
Yeah, we in the booth here in the broadcast, we'll never say it mid-race, but we kind of felt like you had that race secured for a while. When that caution came out, we were like, this might shake it up a little bit, but again, you had the car to go out there and take it. During the race, we did talk about some of your strategies for practicing, and how before you've talked about how much time you put into this. What's your strategy looking like going into Kansas and practice time and everything?
Well, actually, this week I didn't have a whole lot of practice. I mean, I probably did maybe 4 to 6 AI races. And I practiced just a little bit by myself tonight in the doghouse. Before we started up at 6:30, I went in there and just did a few practice races. I've been really busy working on my hot rod, and I'm trying to get it finished. So Kansas is going to be the same way. Kansas is all about momentum. Kansas is a big deal. I don't know how these new tires are going to act here, and as hot as these tracks are being, I'm sure again it's going to be a track of, save and tire the best you can, keep up with everybody as much as you can, but yet save as much as you can. I know it sounds easy, but it's not as easy as it sounds. So I'm going to get as much in as I can time, but if I get 4 to 6 races, I think I'll feel pretty comfortable going into Kansas. Not a strong track for me, but the bigger ones like that. But if I get a top 10, top 5, I'd be happy with that, and try to break this streak of wreckers or checkers. I mean, I'd like to just have some finishes, and I'm not worried about winning. I just want to finish. Kills me in points.
Yeah, this is definitely going to help your case tonight. I think you came in this race 13th in points with 2 wins on your belt. This will make the 3rd, so this should push you up pretty high. And I'm sure with a few more, we got a lot of racing left this season. With a couple more good finishes, you'll be up there at the top. Jamie Horn had an early exit tonight, who was the first place in points, so that might also shuffle the leaderboard up just a little bit here. But before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Well, I want to definitely shout out to MARSS, my company. If anybody's looking for a rental house down by the beach in North Carolina, let me know. We've got a couple few available, and be more than happy to give you a great discount. Just shout me out, or have somebody shout me out, and I'll put my number out there. But I definitely want to thank, like I said, MARSS again. I want to thank Horn, Simpson, or I'm sorry, Horn. I want to thank Elite. I'm running with Jamie and those guys right now. I've got my own team up, but I'm running with them right now and kind of spending some time with those guys. Make a couple new friends there, having a good time. Love racing with Jamie. Jamie's just such a great guy to be around. Want to thank Daniel and the whole league, all the admins, all the time that everybody puts in. People put in so much time here to keep things going. I became an admin a few weeks ago. I'm enjoying that, helping out. So just love the league, and you guys up there keep up the good booth. I love to watch you guys out there, listen to you. When you're talking on the broadcast, it's a lot of fun. Even when I get wrecked out and I'm super irritated, I'll go down and listen to you, and your voice is just kind of calm me down a little bit. So yeah, that's a good thing.
That's got to be my voice you're talking about.
Well, it could be. Maybe it's the beer or two afterwards that does a little bit too, But yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for all you do. We do appreciate you. You guys do an awesome job.
Yes, sir. We try our best to give it all we got every week, but congrats on the win tonight. This makes you 3 wins. That's the most in Doghouse right now. So we went from having not a repeat winner, now you got 3 under your belt. So looking forward to what you could do here at Kansas, and hope to see you up here again next week.
Yes, sir. And then the last shout out I have is probably the biggest shout out, is that Ryko. The RSC club and the setups, and Sean and Ken and all the guys that put in all the time. Believe it or not, these guys put in hours and hours and hours on these setups, and it's been so difficult this 13 week with all the changes and the hot track and the new tire model and everything. So I can't thank all those guys over there that are involved with that. And there's several house drivers that all put their inputs in. and do what they do. So thanks, Reiko. You guys, damn good setups. Love driving them and love being a part of the team.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the compliments, and man, you really went out there and showed up and showed out tonight. So congrats again, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, you guys have a great night. Enjoy your weekend coming up.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye.
That is Shane Parrish. Super nice guy. Also your race winner.
It gets to be both of them. It's got to be me that has the calming voice. I just want to go to bed tonight thinking that it's me. It's probably not, because I know. Yeah.
Oh no, it definitely is.
That's gonna bug me.
If any of our viewers at home actually watch the beginnings of the stream and whatever, but the promo videos we do for the race, we do them. Trying to do them every week with a voiceover. Had some people reach out yesterday actually from another broadcast and asked if we can make promos for them and if I could do the voiceover, and I absolutely cannot do the voiceover. I told them I do not articulate my words well. That's something I've been trying to work on, and Hunter's got the better voice, so if Hunter wants to do it, he definitely can. But yeah, the videos in the beginning, that voice you hear in the background, that's Hunter's voice with a voice editor over it. But
thank you, voice editors.
Yeah, I got it. Definitely not my voice, so he was definitely talking about yours there. But good run tonight at Texas. I'm starting to like Texas more and more the more I run here myself, but I know these guys seem to enjoy it a lot, especially in this Doghouse League. I feel like every league has like certain tracks that they like to go to for Doghouse. I would venture out and say those tracks are probably Phoenix, Auto Club, and starting to become Texas more and more, especially Auto Club with this league here. All those guys are super competitive there, but Texas is definitely added on that list for tracks these guys like to run at. So always a fun one to go to. But going to Kansas next week, going to be right here on Doghouse Racing TV at 7:45. We will try to start on 7:45 next week. Had a little bit of technical issues before the start tonight that we had to get cleared up first. Hopefully it didn't affect the stream too much. If no one has yelled at us at this point, I don't think it has. But
no one's yelled, so I think we're good.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get some nasty little messages later about how bad it was, but we'll see. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch it yet or see it on myself, so we'll see what happens. But thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight. Why don't you give us a sponsor read, and I'll pull up some sponsors here for us.
I can make that happen. Again, our race winner tonight was Shane Parrish, and he is with MARSS Properties, but we do need to give a huge shout out first and foremost to our series sponsor, which is Group6. Group6 is a leading creative agency. They are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Explore the wide range of services they offer at group6inc.com. Again, that is GROUP, the number 6inc.com, and see how they can drive your digital success. Special thanks to Group6 for being our series sponsor this year. I know we saw the Group6 car of that 24 machine bring it home in third place tonight. So really great night for the sponsors. Again, this was the MARSS Properties 201. MARSS Properties offers vacation house getaways in North Carolina within an hour from the ocean. Make sure that you call 817-705-4108. Again, that's 817-705-4108. And speak to Shane, that is Shane Parrish of the Doghouse Racing League, in that number 66 machine directly about your North Carolina getaway. I know he would appreciate it, and we would appreciate it for all he has done for the league. Make sure you give Shane a call for all of your North Carolina vacation needs. Doghouse Racing is also very proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie with your order. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Also a huge shout out to Butt Kicker for being a supporter of the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series. Butt Kicker is the leader in racing haptics. If you want to take your iRacing experience to the next level, be sure you head on over to their website, which is thebuttkicker.com, and get some of the best in haptic technology for your iRacing setup. Huge shout out to Butt Kicker for being a supporter of the league and a sponsor. And then little final, somewhat shameless shout out to myself and John. Myself and John make up Knapp Daddy Racing, Knapp Daddy Broadcasting for when we are up here in the booth. We were originally a iRacing design shop. We still do that, and we have expanded to try to be your one-stop shop for all of your iRacing needs. Check out the website at knappdaddyracing.com, KNAPPDADDYRACING.com for all of your custom design, template, or logo needs. And be sure that you check out some of the free content that is available to pick up as well. And even if you're not into iRacing, be sure you grab a t-shirt or a hat to help support the brand. We are here live with you on Doghouse Racing TV on Thursdays, over on our own YouTube channel on Mondays, and live on TikTok as often as possible. And either way, we are very proud to be a part of the Doghouse Racing League. Without the Doghouse Racing League, there may be no Knapp Daddy Broadcasting, so we are proud to be here and thankful to be here. Again, you can catch all of the best iRacing action on YouTube, live here only on Doghouse Racing TV. You can catch us here on Thursday nights with me and John, and you can catch some other members of the Doghouse Racing League here live on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights at the same time, 7:45, race starting around 8 p.m. Any final thoughts on what we just saw out there on the track, John?
Just to add on, yeah, special thanks to Doghouse Racing, man. This is where we got our start at. This is our first actual, not even year, first few months in the broadcast booth, doing this whole broadcast thing. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you to Doghouse for taking a chance on us and let us come up here and do it and really find our footing and spread our wings here, and helped us out a whole lot, and gotten better every week, trying to still improve. So if anybody has any suggestions, comments, concerns, anything, just send us a message, either through Discord, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anything you want. Email, you can even fax it to me if you can find a fax machine. I'll be sure to read them and try to address them myself. But again, yeah, I just want to thank Doghouse again for letting us have this shot and doing it. It means a lot. It's a big deal for me, especially with this business. I know it is for Hunter as well, but I'm excited to go to Kansas next week. I like Kansas a lot. It's a fun track, multiple lines that you can run there. So we talked to Jennings earlier, and he was talking about how he's going to stay away from the high side. Last time I ran the high side there, I just rode the wall all night and kind of pulled a Hail Melon like Ross Chastain, just not intentionally. So it's going to be a fun one. But other than that, man, great race tonight. Guys pulled it off at Texas. I think we stayed at 3 cautions, I believe. Maybe it was 4.
Yep. I think that last one might have been 4.
Yeah, it would have ruined it, man. Everything we pick is just wrong. But yeah, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Everybody that's still here watching. We'll be back next week. Same place, same time, 7:45, right here at Doghouse Racing TV. Be sure to catch Jamie and Daniel, and sometimes Bill Gentry, I believe, up in the booth on Sunday nights for our truck series on Doghouse Racing TV, 7:45, and on Tuesday night for the Gen 4 series over on Tent City Broadcasting, also on YouTube. Also a good series going on over there with some hot battles going on. But until next week, we will see you next time. For the last time, I have been John.
And I have been Hunter.
And we will see you guys next week.
Take care, everyone.
Welcome to the Lone Star State. This Thursday night, the Doghouse Racing League brings the Group 6 Cup Series to Fort Worth, Texas.
And the 4 almost got into turning 2. Now the 3 wide.
And around goes the 18. He catches the 19. Mark Truex Jr. into the wall.
134 laps, 201 miles, one shot at glory.
Almost.
The momentum, the 18, they make contact. The 18 into the wall. They're side by side again, going into 3 for the lead. Larson has the advantage. Here comes the 18, he puts the bump into the back of him. The 18 into the wall, the 42 sideways.
Where's Harvick?
Here comes the 18.
They say everything is bigger in Texas. The adrenaline, the grit, the pressure. Live tonight, only on Doghouse Racing TV. It's the Group 6 Cup Series for the MARSS Properties 201. We are live.